camped on the edge of Ovens River, the Murray River and New South Wales borders, about 5k that way. Just pottering my way back down to Melbourne to jump on the boat to head back home after 5 months doing another lap of the country. This is probably, geez, there's some big fish jumping over there. This is probably the last time I'll travel with this setup, so I thought I'd run the camera over it and figured I should probably talk about it for the people that have followed me for a few years. So December 97 Toyota Hiace Commuter bus. I bought it in 2015 or 2016 for $6,000. The people that had it, it was from a deceased estate, and the people were advertising it for I think 13, and then they dropped to 11, and I rocked up with $6,000 cash and they jumped at it. It originally only had a double bed framed up roughly with framing pine in the back, and I had a broken roof vent on it, and had these security screens on it, but they were just held on with roofing screws. I ended up putting riv nuts in and decent stainless screws just so they're secure. I like these security screens just because I can keep the windows open at night and I don't have to worry about people cutting the screens and reaching in to knock stuff off, and I can leave the van through the day and leave the windows open to get airflow through and not worry about people breaking in. When I bought it, I had about 110,000 on the clock. The age and general condition of it, I reckon it had been wound back. I've got my doubts it was a genuine 110, but yeah, got 217 on it now, so I've done about 117,000 in it. 4 laps of the country basically. Then it was originally a 13-seat minibus. They normally sit 3 across the front, but previous owners had removed the back part of the front seat, which is normally folds down to be a console. I assume they'd taken it out so they could jump from the back through to the front, but being over 6 foot, there's a bit of a contortion act to do. I only do it occasionally. But I just made up this wooden box from the middle here to store a bit of crap in, and cup holders and such. Phone holder, USB power supply tucked in there just to charge the phone, dash cam, reverse camera. I've got the reverse camera just on a wireless transmitter, and for the power I just wired it into the rear demister, because I rarely use a rear demister, so to turn the reverse camera on I just turn the rear demister on. Yeah, it does the job. Cheap UHF radio. It's not actually approved by the ACMA. They're like a cheap Chinese radio, but I went this way because I've programmed it with the UHF and marine channels, so I can use it in the boat and on the bike and in the van. Mainly run it without the battery, just plugged into 12 volt in the van, so it's handy around oversized loads and roadworks and such to hear what's going on. If you're approaching an oversized load, they'll often the escort vehicles, the pilot vehicles will generally call out the width of the oversized load, so you sort of get a good idea whether you got to pull over or just get right off the road. The beginning of this year I upgraded from a AGM battery to a lithium, and that's just been a game changer. The lithium battery is just so good. The 120 amp hour AGM battery I've been running in recent years, it sort of did the job, but it was only a cheapie, and it's just ridiculously slow to charge. Whereas the AGM, the lithium battery will take everything you can throw at it, type of thing. It charges up really fast. Just some USBs and cigarette lighter outlets here. Keep a Telstra modem plugged in all the time. I used to run just the cheap 4GX Plus modems, which I've had for years, but the battery in it was bulged. I was getting a bit concerned it was going to go up in flames, so I bought one of these better, just 4GX ones. The Wi-Fi is a bit faster, and the speed is just significantly better than the old one. Behind the seat, it's like the mains power cord, and just a 240 volt ceramic fan heater and first aid kit and such. Mains power to plug the cord in for the very rare occasion I'm at a caravan park or such. Circuit breaker and a couple of power points down here. This is as far as the mains wiring goes, and then I've just got a power board plugged in to go through to the back. Just mops and crap in here, which I never actually use. Suicide. Oh, jeez, he's been there all day and he's still alive. Poor bugger. And the front here, I've just got motorbike jacket, pants, helmet, backpack, boots, blunnies, hiking boots, wet weather gear, all thrown in there. I carry a 4G antenna, which I plug into the modem at times. Often I'll just sit it in the door here, and if I'm in fringe areas like in the middle of the Nullarbor or such, it gives me reception when I can't get any. If I'm in real fringe areas, I just use one of these clamps and connect it onto the solar panel. And like at times you'll be in remote places, and you might have a couple of bars of 3G reception, but you'll get no speed at all. And you'll plug in the antenna, it will get your 4G reception. You might not have any bars, but you'll get good internet speeds. So it's worked out pretty good, actually. I think it cost about $70, but I've had quite a bit of use out of it. Power wise, I've just got my battery down here. Just a lithium battery. It cost me about $500. I got a sort of slightly better one than your bargain basement cheapies, but seems quite good. Made up this bit of a cap to go on top of it. I've got a Victron Smart Shunt in here, which sort of monitors the power in and out, so I can use a Victron Bluetooth app and log into it to see how much power I've got, what my battery state is, and a couple 100 amp fuse in here, and just everything's sort of connected on Andersons. DC charger. That's an old lead acid AGM gel DC charger, but I use it on the lithium. It seems okay. I've got on the gel setting, so it charges at 14.1 amps, and I've just got over voltage set in the smart BMS in the battery, so that yeah, it charges okay. And I can get away with not having a specific lithium profile in the DC charger. These also have an MMPT solar charger in them, but I've never found the projector ones very good. Bought one projector DC charger, and you'd hear it ramp up and then it'd cut out. And I complained to them about it, and they just sent me a new version with a new version firmware. So I've actually got two of them. I carry the second one in here just as a spare, and if I need to charge the bike or charge up somebody else's vehicle, I just connect my spare one into an auxiliary power outlet here, and just a cheap inverter. I only installed that to charge the e-bike on the odd occasions I travel with it. I don't really use mains power when I'm on the road for anything else. When I upgraded to lithium, I put in decent DIN mount breakers. The box is only like $25, and the DIN mount DC breakers were only $11 each, so it was insignificant money really for to get away from fuses. And when I first built the van, as I said, I bought it in 2015 or 2016, and I sat on it for a while. I just didn't have time to set it up. In 2017 I decided it was now or never to go and do a big lap and go to Cape York and such. So I sort of did a rush job and spent 2 or 3 weeks just fitting it out. And the whole fit out was just with odd crap I had around the place. I only really put a couple $100 into it and stuff I already had. It was a bit of a rush job, but it's sort of worked out okay. So I've carried on using basically the same setup, and then I've just tweaked things each year. Like originally I had a 240 volt bar fridge in here, and I had a microwave up there. I was sort of a bit delusional thinking I'd be staying at caravan parks quite a bit, but as it turns out I almost never do, and almost never have mains power. So it didn't take me long to change to a 12 volt Engel fridge, but I'll talk about that in a sec. The view from the back with the bike in, ramp, my emergency 10 litres of water I've been carrying the whole trip. I always carry 20 litres of spare fuel. The van's pretty good on fuel, which is the reason I've stuck with it. It generally does 10k to the litre, or 10 litres per 100k. Bit less if I'm hammering into a headwind or sitting on 110 all day, but it's good that I can sort of push my fuel limit, knowing that if I do run out I've got 20 litres in the back. Or if I get to a roadhouse and their power's off or they're out of fuel, I know I've got a couple 100k range sitting there. And at times I'll use it on the bike, not so much this year because I've only really used the bike for the Canning stock route this year, and I haven't pulled it out any other time really. Under the bed it's oils and tools and consumables and heaps of odd crap that I rarely actually get to. Down this side I've got like a windscreen sun shield just to keep the heat out, and used to get a bit of condensation on the steel work along here, so I just put some of these foam yoga mat tiles shoved along there as well just to insulate it a bit. The first year I didn't have any insulation down that side, and in cold weather just the cold coming down off the window was terrible, and the condensation. But okay, inside just a cheapy sink. I wanted, like most caravans and camper vans have these tiny little sinks that are like a foot diameter and a couple of inches deep, and they're just not practical. I wanted something that I could have a good wash in and have a bit of a horse bath in type of thing. So I put in this decent sized sink, which has been really good, and a mixer. I had to replace this earlier on this trip just because the real cheapie I had in there failed. One of the hoses popped off underneath. When I first set it up, I set it up so that, because under here I've got a water tank and a grey water tank. I originally had a bigger water tank in here, but there's a 12 volt pump down the back, and I originally had it so the 12 volt pump is on the cold side, and then I had it plumbed so the hot side was to a tap inlet down here, so that if I was staying at a caravan park with mains water, I could just plug a hose in, have mains water on tap. But I ended up never using it, so I haven't actually plumbed up the main side of it since I replaced this mixer earlier this year. The sink drains into I think they're a 22 litre ex-army jerry can there. It's got a sight glass up the side, but I never really look at it. Drain tap there, drains down now at the bottom. I've got a hose to drain it into a dump point if I have to, but more often than not I just dump it on the ground in the bush. Whenever I drain it, I throw in a bit of like cheap laundry soaker, nappy sand type stuff. That oxygenates the liquid, so it doesn't end up with that grey water or black water sort of smell to it. I use the same stuff in the toilet. When I empty the loo, I'll throw in about, I don't know, maybe 4 tablespoons of that, and sort of keeps the smell right down. And it tends to get a bit of a fruity smell to it, if anything. I don't actually pee in the loo. I tend to use bottles for peeing in, being a guy, and I just crap in the loo, and I only really have to empty it about once a month. But it never really gets a smell to it. I've only had the loo since COVID. I bought that with the lockdowns and that, just so I wouldn't have to use public toilets in Tassie on the road. But it's been a real game changer. It's been nice being able to get up in the morning, have my morning coffee and toilet on tap, and not be having to think about where I'm going to go in the morning, because especially in the outback, a lot of the campgrounds are just big open paddocks and big open areas with no trees, and it's not easy to find somewhere to go if there's no public loo. But this tank, I did have a bigger water tank in here, but I had to put in the smaller 20 litre one when I installed the diesel heater, because I needed somewhere for the diesel tank. Got 2 kilowatt diesel heater tucked in here, just to have caps on it, just to keep the dust out. That's really good. I prefer to sleep with it being a bit cold, but I hate getting up in the morning when it's cold, so if it's only like 10 in the morning or such, I'll reach out of bed and turn the diesel heater on and run it for 15 minutes just to get it up to 20 in here before I crawl out of bed. A water tank, I used to carry a water hose to fill it up, but I tended to never use the hose, because I carry a 10 litre container with like a hose on the tap, and it's just easier to use the 10 litre container to fill it up from the tap, set it up here and drain it in, and the time it takes to put a couple of 10 litre containers worth in is quicker than getting your hose out and filling it up and then packing the hose up and such. A few toiletries and sunblock and stuff up here. Just food storage and stuff up here. Herbs and spices, crockery, cutlery, coffee. foil bags. Oh crap. I bought this tool chest on special from Super Cheap, and it was sitting there, and once I built the bed and this, which I built originally for the width of the bar fridge I had in here, and then I realised that this tool chest was just the right width for the space I had, so I ended up throwing it in here, and it's been really good. Just a typical cheap canister, gas canister stove. I go through about 1 bottle of gas a week, maybe 6 to 7 days. A little Trangia kettle, which gets used multiple times a day. It's good because I can, it's got the lock on it, so I can lock it so the drawers aren't coming open through the day when I'm driving. Spare spices, I buy all my herbs and spices in bulk, so I'll fill up heaps of containers, enough to do me for my trips, so I'm not having to pay bloody ridiculous supermarket prices. Coffee and crap, just odd more food storage, and the bottom's just full of canned goods, beans and corn and tuna, and enough to keep me going for a few months if if worse came to worse. Tend to drink just goon most of the time on the road because I don't have cans or bottles to have to dispose of. Carbon monoxide detector alarm, I installed that when I installed the diesel heater, just so I don't end up gassing myself. This was a PC computer fan controller. I ended up putting a few switches in the top just for my lighting, and look in the roof vent, I've got a PC fan just to keep air flowing through all the time. Condensation and moisture are just the worst thing for a small van. You can't lock yourself in a van like this, and like after the night, the amount of moisture you breathe out through the night, if you don't have airflow going through, when you get up in the morning, it's raining in here, so you need to keep airflow through all the time. So just have the computer fan there. When I'm cooking, I just turn the fan speed up, just to suck out the greasy air, so I don't end up with like greasy stuff building up in here. The fridge, as I said, the first year I had a bar fridge in here, and yeah, it was just useless. Second year I had an esky, but buying ice was just a pain in the neck. But buying the cheap Engel has been good. Had quite a bit of use out of it. The temperature you can have set as a fridge or crank it down for a freezer, but I wanted to use it as a fridge freezer, so I made up this plastic container that goes in the top just with like yoga mat tile glued around it, and I put all my frozen goods in the bottom, and they stay frozen, and the stuff in the top stays at sort of fridge temperature. You have to juggle the dial depending on whether you're in hot or cold weather, because the cooling effect of the Engel sort of varies a bit depending on the ambient temperature. So if you have it set too low, things like a cabbage and that end up freezing. Or if you have it too high, the stuff in the frozen stuff in the bottom gets a bit soft, so it takes a little bit of juggling, but you get the hang of it pretty quick. But it works out pretty good to be able to use just a single mode fridge freezer for both. Have a little temperature, indoor outdoor temperature readout thing there with a sensor going into the fridge just so I can see what the fridge temperature is at a glance. It's also got minimum and maximum on it. It's like this year the hottest it's been in the van this trip has been 37 and the coldest is 9 degrees which isn't too bad. That's why I'm over here avoiding Tassie winters. The bike, of course, I've got a couple of old rough videos of me loading the bike in and out. I'll put a link to them below. A couple of milk crates with odd crap in. This one's just got odd cables and computer gear and stuff, and the loo, of course. When I need to use the loo, I just fold the bed up and slide it out, and yeah, it's all good. Just a junk drawer, little laptop drawer, my tablet here. Recent years I've hibernated. Wake that up. Recent years I've just been using a refurb Microsoft Surface Go. They're like a Windows 2-in-1 tablet with a detachable keyboard. So it's they're pretty light and good on power, and so I use that for all my planning and memory memory maps for my planning and following myself, same as what I use on the bike. Use wiki camps for finding my camps and water and yeah, checking out reviews of attractions and all that sort of stuff. Wiki camps used to be great, but then it was bought out by G'day Rewards, the company that owns Discovery Parks and Top Parks, and they've just murdered it. They did a forced update back in June, and the app's been near on unusable ever since. It's just so frustrating because it used to be such a good app. I'm sure they bought it just to murder it, to drive more people to their bloody caravan parks, but this is the camp I'm at the moment, just off the border in the Murray River. But normally you'd gives you details of what's available at the park. It's free, and yeah, Telstra reception, and there normally be reviews, and this one, the issues with it used to be instant to load up the reviews. Now I'll sit there and complain for ages, but anyway, love my maps. But yeah, I normally have it down here, but yeah, if I'm sitting back relaxing, I generally using the motorbike as a footrest, and that's my TV. And when I'm laying in bed, I watch TV on that. I download a lot of odd TV shows and stuff just to watch at night. I get Boost SIM cards, which are Telstra, for free, and so I download quite a bit when I'm on the road. Just these nets up here for storage, lots of odd clothes, and a lot of odd stuff ends up in them. The clothes I'm using I tend to shove on that side, but then there's the backup stuff and my hot weather sleeping bag and beanies and odd stuff up here. I've got another RAM mount on the roof. I put the tablet up there occasionally. Yeah, I'm not sure what else. No, fly spray, insect repellent, stuff up here. Roof vent I tend to only close when I'm driving. Most of the time I keep it open a bit, just as I said, keep the airflow going through so the place doesn't get manky and damp. That's about it, I think. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I've used this setup, as I said, for about 117,000 k in the van, and I think the first year I had 15 on the bike, and she's up to 75,000 now, which has mostly been with this setup. Carry spare tyres down the side here, and a lot of the bike stuff's tucked down the back. I won't be travelling over here with the bike anymore. I'm a bit over it. I've done most of what I wanted to do on it. Next winter, sort of been toying with maybe going to a Mercedes Sprinter, but I'd really like to go to like a high roof troop carrier or a pop top troop carrier, something I can sort of replicate this setup in, and have the head height, and then I can use four-wheel drive to finish off the desert tracks I haven't done, but that's probably not going to happen before next winter. So next winter I might just use this van again, and I'll probably fit it out as a proper double bed, and probably travel with my e-bike and or maybe my tinny, but bringing the boat over on the ferry, it costs about $1,000 return, so I might just bring the motor and all my gear over and then buy a tinny and trailer over here and store at my friend's place up in Queensland, and then just leave it over here so I don't have to tow it back and forth. But yeah, still undecided at the moment. Oh yeah, more power down here, just another USB outlets and cigarette lighter outlets for powering the tablet. Yeah, so as I said, it's all rough and very little money, but very functional, and the van's ridiculously reliable. The parts are ridiculously cheap. Each year I do a bit more maintenance on it. It's like, yeah, first year the brakes were shuddered a little bit, so I bought new discs and pads for it, and that cost like $78. It was under $80 for Bosch discs and Brembo pads, and it's only let me down once. 2018 the harmonic balancer, just the outer ring let go from the rubber, and Repco in Alice Springs had one on the shelf and it cost me like $200, and then I had some mechanics from Zimbabwe fit it for me for a couple $100, but if I had to do that again I'd just do it myself, but it was a bit daunting at the time just because of where it's located on the motor under the seat. Don't think I've had any other issues with it. I had to get a wheel alignment done this year up Cunnaburra because I caned the hell out of it through like four-wheel drive high clearance roads up through Mount Augustus in the Gascoyne, WA this year, and out Gibb River Road and down to Tunnel Creek, and yeah, just threw the wheel alignment out, something shocking, so I had to get a wheel alignment done up there. But mechanically wise, just yeah, awesome vehicle. It'd be hard to let it go because it fits into a standard car parking spot, which if I do go to like a Sprinter or something like that, then I've got to find oversized parking, and so we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's enough waffle on for me, and any questions feel free to ask.